Hello, my name is Tim Heaton. I'm the president of the Colorado Advanced Manufacturing Alliance. I'm here today representing 3 additional industry intermediaries or trade associations: the Colorado Clean Tech Industry Association, the Colorado Technology Association, and the Institute from the Colorado Bioscience Association. We're here today to tell you about an exciting program that's been created in the state of Colorado to help companies like yours build your own workforce pipeline and stop the predatory practice of hiring employees away from other companies, which is inflationary and not good for the overall economy of Colorado. The Colorado Innovative Industries Internship Program was created in 2015. The program was designed to provide up to $5,000 for companies like yours to pay for an internship, or up to 50% of the cost of an internship program inside your company. We have with us today 3 companies represented by Grady Cope, who is the president of Reata Engineering and Machining, David Shine, CEO of dBMEDx, and Jessica Davis, HR Director for eSource. All 3 of these individuals have participated in the Innovative Industries Internship Program and are here to share their experiences with you on how easy it is to take advantage of this program. Before we go into that, I just want to briefly cover some of the statistics from the first year of this program. The program is available to the following industry sectors. So if your company is in one of these sectors, you are eligible to participate in the program: aerospace, bioscience, electronics, engineering, advanced manufacturing, construction, energy and natural resources, and information technology. In the first year of the program, 127 men participated and 51 women. The education level was a bit surprising to see, for me at least, for the first year, with 153 of the interns coming to the businesses from a post-secondary or a bachelor's or associate degree level program. Only 23 of the interns came to the program through high school or a 2-year certificate program, and we had 2 interns that were enrolled in an adult education program. One of the important features of the Act that we designed into it specifically was that 80% of the funds had to be used by companies of 100 or fewer employees. So we really did target the strength of Colorado's economy, and that's the small and medium-sized companies that are truly the companies out there now growing and hiring companies. The first year, 83% of the funding went to companies of 100 employees or less. So with that as a quick overview of the program, I'd like to start out by asking a question for our 3 panelists here. Is workforce a challenge for you? So Dave, let's start with you. Are you having a difficult time building your pipeline of employees?
Yes, absolutely. It's hard to find good, talented people and people with relevant industry knowledge and experience. So this program is a great way to make that happen.
Jessica, how about you?
We don't have too much problem with the pool of entry-level candidates. We have a lot of people coming out of CU with environmental studies backgrounds and that kind of thing. But the internship program is a great way to screen those interns before actually hiring them into a full-time role.
Okay. Grady, how about yourself?
So for us, it's the largest single limiting factor to growing manufacturing is a pipeline of good candidates, and this allows us to begin growing that pipeline.
Okay. So was the idea of an internship program new to you at Reata?
Yes, it was. This was the first year we had ever really done a structured internship program, and it's something we'll continue to focus on as we move forward.
So the Act really did open the door for internships within your company then?
It did. Had we not had this, I don't know that we would have ever participated. It was pretty easy to implement.
Dave, have you had interns in the past?
We have. Yeah, I've worked with interns really throughout my career. I can tell you last year when we used the program, financially it was a challenge, and the program really enabled us to keep bringing in interns.
Okay. How about you, Jessica? Have you guys been using interns in the past to train those future workers?
Yeah, definitely. We've used interns for the past 9 years since I started with eSource. But this program was really great because we were tight on budget last year, and it helped us to get an intern even though we hadn't planned on it.
So you're actually the HR director, so I'm assuming then that you are the person responsible for applying for the grant funding. Talk to me a little bit about your experience with the application. It's an online application. If you would, share with us your experience.
Yeah, the online application was super easy. I was going into it thinking that I was going to have to fill out a lot of paperwork and forms and everything, and it was very simple, very quick, 5 minutes maybe. You submit, and then you just wait to hear back.
Grady, how about you? What was the experience for you or your staff?
So I got no pushback from my staff, and it was very easy. There was no complaints, and they actually said it would be easy enough to do it the second year. They had no problems with it.
Dave, how about you? Did you fill out the application yourself, or did you have a staffer do it?
I did it, and I would echo those other comments. It was really very straightforward and simple.
So for the listener, the application is very, as you just heard, very straightforward. You can go to the website that's here in the slide deck. In addition to an online application, and you'll see there in the slides, I've outlined some of the key things you're going to need to have in your hands when you complete your application. But don't stop there. The state has actually built a wonderful toolbox of tools such as sample job descriptions, sample outlines for your internship program. So there's a wonderful toolbox available for you online. So once you complete your application, don't stop there. Keep exploring that toolbox and take advantage of some of the tools that are out there for you. One of those tools is to help you recruit that intern. Jessica, how did you find your interns?
Our interns we just posted on CU Boulder's website and also Craigslist, and that got picked up by Indeed, and so just from those simple postings, we had several candidates that were interested.
And I can't believe I can't remember if I asked you this or not, but you were the grade level of the intern that you were using was?
They were in their bachelor's.
Oh, so post-secondary. Dave, how about you? What was the age of the intern you were using?
We brought in somebody who was in college pursuing their bachelor's at the time, and we were able to source ours from internally. We had the employees go to their network, and we were able to find a good candidate that way.
Okay. Grady, what was the age group of interns you worked with?
So we worked with high school students, juniors and seniors, and we worked with Cherry Creek school districts. And they had a couple of counselors that were really helpful, and they screened and found us students. At first we were asking for 2, and they had 4 incredible resumes for these, and we said we'd take all 4 at the end.
Okay. Now, did you already have contacts with Cherry Creek School District, or did the state help you put that together?
The state helped me put that together for this. Now.
Okay, so again, the resources available to the state were helpful to you. Now, you had high school students. So was there any health and safety or workers' comp issues or anything of that nature that were concerned to you?
There was not, and we checked into it heavily, and there's not near the issue that people think there are. In fact, some of the students actually did go out and run some of the computerized equipment, and it was not a problem.
Very good. So did you, so you actually had them running heavy equipment. Did they have a mentor, or did you use a mentor in that capacity to help them? So
we had 2 mentors in the program. One was a programmer and one was an engineer. And they divided into 2s, and their mentor worked with them through, and they moved throughout the company. They might work in production for a week, and then they worked in quality control another week, and then engineering another week, and they would rotate through that.
Okay. Jessica, did you assign a mentor or somebody that was working with the intern?
Yeah, so each intern was assigned to a specific research team, a research department in our company, and they had a supervisor which acted in the role of a mentor and guided them through, had weekly check-ins, make sure they're still on task and things like that.
So let me dive a little deeper on that question then. So you had mentioned that you can find students, but they may not necessarily be trained to what you're looking for. How were you using that mentor or that supervisor to help them train to be more specific what you're looking for?
Mm-hmm. So we have a specific writing style here since our product is basically writing reports and answering inquiries for utility companies to tell them what new technologies or what kind of energy efficiency programs they could be running. We're really evaluating that intern's writing skill set and their ability to do online research. And from that, they grow in their knowledge of the energy industry, but we also get an understanding for their skill set before bringing them in and spending 6 months training somebody and then realizing that they're not actually a good writer.
So Dave, turning to you now, dBMEDx sounds pretty specific. Are you training those interns to a specific skill standard or a specific training standard within your company?
In our case, not specifically. We had a project, essentially a marketing project that needed to be done, and so there wasn't an industry specific skill set they needed. It was really just a broad project. We did have a mentor who had responsibility for the project, who worked with the intern, although the intern had a great deal of independence on the project itself.
So, going back to the application briefly, one of the things that you had to provide in your application was the job description. So Jessica and Dave, it sounds like your job descriptions was very narrowly focused to a specific project or a specific task within the company. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
And Grady, it sounds like in your case, you took them through a smorgasbord of activities within the company.
Sure. Since they're high school students, they had no idea upon walking in our shop what areas that are there. Some of the students want to go on to be engineers. Some of them want to go on to be machinists. So by dividing it up and letting them see all aspects of the business, they get to understand the whole manufacturing process from a job shop perspective, and learned a lot and had some fun along the way.
So am I safe to draw a conclusion here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but so perhaps when you're bringing an intern in from the post-secondary level or college level, you may be a little more narrowly focusing that intern to something very specific that is meeting an immediate need, and hopefully allow that intern to move into a long-term role. But if you're with a high school student on the other hand, you may want to be working a broader, really sort of a career awareness internship program. Is it safe to say there are really two programs there?
This is Grady. I think there are two programs there. I think you have to do it a little bit differently because of the various natures of what students have been exposed to at their age level and their grade level.
Dave, would you agree with that?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, how you sort of described that.
Okay. Jessica, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I would say that just in the U.S. today, we don't do a very good job of preparing teenagers that are just coming out of high school for what they want to do. So if they can get a taste of an industry before they actually decide on a college program, that would be invaluable.
It's funny you say it that way. I have said before, and I know many others who have said the same thing, that rightly or wrongly, the United States is the only country in the world that seems to think we can train our employees twice, once in the school system and once in industry. Hopefully, internships provide an opportunity to bring that training into one fold. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here and talk about measurable outcomes. Dave, were you able to quantify or measure an ROI for your internship program?
I think in our case, the work that we had done was a fairly significant project that we needed to have done sort of regardless. And so to have an intern come in and do it very cost effectively was a real win for us, rather than what it might have otherwise cost us to get that work done.
So did you measure any feedback from the intern, and would they be willing to say the same thing in return?
The feedback was measured conversationally, I'd say, through the interaction between the intern and the mentor. So the intern, she described it as a very positive experience. It gave her a real significant project and task to do, in our case, over the summer, rather than something else she might have done. So I think it was also a great experience for her.
Jessica, how did you measure ROI, and were you successful? Well, actually, let me rephrase that question. So there's intangibles to an internship program as well. Were you able to measure or see any of the intangible benefits to the internship program?
Yeah, I think that our benefit was just the spreading of word of mouth of our company in the local area, because those interns came back to their friends and they said, hey, I had this great internship at eSource, and we've had a few referrals since then for people that have been hired in entry-level positions and also internships just from knowing somebody else that had interned here. So it's a great word-of-mouth benefit.
So it really provided a marketing punch for you as well.
Yeah.
Grady, how about you? What were some of the measurements that you were able to quantify?
So we certainly weren't looking at financial measurements when we entered this program, because one of our primary goals was filling the pipeline and getting high school students introduced to manufacturing and engineering and what we do in our company. But the real intangible that we now see is every day I hear from different employees of, are we doing the internship program again this summer? We really enjoyed having them there. And of course, we've had a couple stay on to work part-time with us through the winter. So it's been a real benefit to them, the students, as well as Reata.
So that triggered another thought in my mind. Dave, I'm going to throw this one at you first. How many employees do you have on your team, Dave?
9 employees now.
So you have 9, and you brought in how many interns last summer?
1.
So how did the other 9 employees react to the intern?
It was very positive. The intern was very, had a desire to contribute, had a very positive energy they brought to the team. And at a small company, when someone like that is brought in, they're inevitably taking work from other employees who are somewhat overloaded anyway. So it was a real win across the board.
And Jessica, how many employees do you have?
We have 85.
So and then how many interns did you bring in last summer?
Through this program, we brought in 1 intern into our marketing communications research team, and they had a great benefit from it because they were a team that was, a little understaffed at the time anyway, so having somebody come in and be able to not only learn themselves but take some of the work off their plates was a great value.
Right. So, Grady, I know your company better than the others, and I know that you have a very diverse machine shop floor. You have a very diverse company in your HR. And you had 4 interns.
Right.
How did your interns fit into that diverse team that you have?
Well, it was really good for the team and the interns because they got to kind of see some real-life experiences for their first time. And because of the 2 mentors we had both been interns previously, they really helped launch the program and make them feel right at home and gave them a contact point if they were concerned or worried about anything.
Well, I want to thank all 3 of you for your time, but I'm going to go around the horn, one last question, and this is sort of going to be the wrap-up question I'd like all 3 of you to answer. So I'll throw it out there, and then we'll ladies first, we'll start with Jessica. But what I'd like all 3 of you to answer is, will you continue the internship program in the future with or without this funding? And what advice would you provide to any other company that is thinking about applying for funding under the Innovative Industries Act? Jessica, you're up.
Yes, I would definitely continue the internship program. It's great for students and it's great for us because we get that pipeline like the other folks were saying. And as far as advice, I would say just, don't be intimidated by the application. It's very simple and easy to do, and there is a video on the website that tells you all the guidelines for the things that, minimum salary, minimum hours, that kind of thing, so that when you are going through that application that you don't put the wrong thing in there because you don't want to put $9 when the minimum is actually $10 and disqualify yourself right away. So, yeah, good luck to everyone that's going to attempt to get the subsidy.
Dave, will you continue to use interns, and what advice do you offer?
We would definitely like to continue using interns, and I think programs like this sometimes can make that possible. So I think the program is very important. The advice I would give, in our case, we chose to put a fairly flexible job description. It wasn't highly specific at that level, and it gave us the ability when we found a talented individual who, we didn't have to have something very specific. We were a little bit more broad. We found someone and were able to cater the task to her specific skill set, and for us that was a real win.
Grady, how about you?
We would absolutely do the program again, and the whole change in the company with working with interns has been a real positive for us.
Good. Well, again, I want to thank Grady Cope, President of Reata Engineering and Machining, David Shine, CEO of dBMEDx, and Jessica Davis, HR Director of eSource. Again, the program we've been talking about is the Innovative Industries Internship Program. This is a Colorado state-funded program. It can provide up to $5,000 of funding to a company for 50% of the internship costs for hosting interns within your company. You can find this by Googling the Innovative Industries Internship Program. You'll find the website at the Office of Economic Development and International Trade within the state of Colorado. And I highly encourage any company listening to this to explore the program and to think about taking on an intern to help grow their own workforce pipeline in the future. Thank you very much.